In the frozen north, the grizzly bear, the apex predator at the top of the food chain, surges in like a whirlwind. Each heavy step stamps its authority into the ground, cutting the angle to lock onto its target. In one sudden burst, it throws up dust and shuts down every escape route. Without showmanship, sheer weight and relentless resolve force the target into a bad position within seconds. So what allows the grizzly bear to seize control so quickly? Grizzly bears weigh from about 400 to over 800 pounds, with long claws and bite strength capable of handling many large targets. They also have an extremely sensitive sense of smell, able to detect scents from several miles away. Their diet is highly flexible, ranging from salmon, roots, and berries to protein-rich prey when conditions allow. Every pursuit or retreat centers on one equation: gaining enough energy without wearing themselves down. That mix of power and strategy is what makes the grizzly bear a symbol of survival in the north. Mountain goats are master climbers, able to conquer rock faces with slopes up to about 60 degrees, thanks to split hooves that grip firmly and extremely strong legs. The grizzly bear, driven by hunger, leaves the valley and climbs mountain slopes up to 10,000 feet high in search of this valuable source of protein. When it senses pressure from behind, the mountain goat does not flee in a straight line. It changes direction constantly over loose rock, jumps across narrow ledges, and chooses paths where the pursuer struggles to find stable footing. Even so, the bear still focuses on a mother and young pair that has become separated from the herd and is stuck near a rock edge less than 2 feet wide, a position with both high opportunity and high risk. The mother mountain goat stamps her feet in warning, as if to remind that the cliff always favors those who know the way. After several attempts to close in, the bear finally decides to move on, conserving energy and saving its strength for future hunts. The elk is the athlete of the mountains, a large-bodied animal with the antlers of males spreading up to about 4 feet. Every breath in the cold air is a signal of alertness, and bursts of speed that can reach 45 miles per hour force most predators to recalculate their distance. For the grizzly bear, the elk is not only a source of energy, but also an opponent that forces it to adjust its tactics. When the bear presses the elk toward the water's edge, the chase shifts into a test of strength in the cold river, where the bear's weight begins to work in its favor. In the water, the long legs that are an advantage on land become a hindrance, causing the elk to slow down noticeably. With each passing moment, the grizzly bear gradually takes control and gains an energy reward estimated at about 100,000 calories, enough to help it maintain strength through many days of searching ahead. On another mountain slope, the grizzly bear closes in from behind with a bite measured at around 1,200 pounds per square inch. The elk fights back, surging forward in an effort to open a path away from this formidable predator. But after a few tense moments of struggle, the grizzly bear secures the upper hand. That is a reminder of the cycle of survival. That precious energy is stored by the grizzly bear as fat reserves for the lean days ahead. What remains quietly nourishes birds, insects, and the surrounding forest floor. A small piece of evidence of the wild's unending rhythm. Mating season turns the northern forest into a quiet battleground. Adult male grizzlies constantly leave signals through scent, claw marks on tree trunks, and familiar patrol routes. For them, it is a way to declare control without having to meet face to face. When two figures weighing more than 600 pounds move toward each other, tension usually rises gradually instead of flaring up at once. They watch and test one another from a distance, walking in parallel, breathing hard, eyes gauging every move. It feels like a negotiation over boundaries and the right to stay close to a potential mate. If the risk seems greater than the reward, one will deliberately turn away, because saving energy is sometimes the wiser way to survive. But if neither side yields, the confrontation shifts into a test of limits. Body weight, shoulders, and chest become the main tools to press and push the rival out of a favorable position. Claws and teeth serve mostly as points of contact to keep balance and apply steady pressure. With just a brief break in timing, the weaker side turns away, and the tension drops immediately. The one that stays keeps control. The one that retreats keeps a chance for the next season. Behind each of these contests stands the female grizzly. Most of the time, a female leans toward a male that is strong, enduring, and able to hold a stable home range. But once cubs are in the picture, priorities shift at once. The mother bear puts safety first and is ready to lead her young away if an unfamiliar bear comes too close. For that reason, territory is more than just a place to live. It is where every choice to advance or withdraw leaves lasting consequences, from opportunities to reproduce to the level of safety for the cubs, and ultimately the future of the entire population. Wolves are famous for their speed, pack coordination, and very quick ability to read situations. But the moment a grizzly bear appears, the atmosphere changes at once. Like a wall of territorial power, it forces the entire pack to slow down, shifting into careful probing and step-by-step risk assessment. In Yellowstone, a grizzly bear buries part of its food under the snow as a way to secure that resource for later. The scent draws a wolf pack in. They build their numbers, tighten the circle, and search for a safe angle of approach. But the grizzly only needs to hold its ground, standing firm like an unmoving landmark. Instinct tells the wolves that today, the price of contesting this share is too high. In another encounter, the wolves try to draw the grizzly away from its meal with feints of moving forward and back, spreading out to create confusion. But the pressure created by the grizzly is enough to make every calculated attempt quickly lose momentum. After just a few tests, the whole pack withdraws, leaving the meal to the one holding the clear advantage. These encounters are not simple contests of winning or losing, but a comparison between strategy and raw physical power. Wolves win through rhythm and coordination, while the grizzly wins through presence. In the forests of Alaska, the moose is an opponent that forces the grizzly bear to think more carefully than in most other hunts. An adult can stand over 6 feet at the shoulder and weigh more than 1,400 pounds, with antlers spread wide like a moving shield, strong enough to push back any animal that comes too close. For that reason, the bear rarely chooses to rush straight in. It keeps its distance and watches for weaknesses in its target. With a young moose, the bear gradually pushes it towards the water's edge or into marshy ground, where escape routes narrow and its stride slow, making it easier to bring the chase to a close before the bear exhausts itself. Against a full-grown moose, the rhythm of the hunt changes again. The bear tries to draw its opponent into deeper stretches of river or onto soft, muddy ground, using the terrain as an ally. Each step the moose takes grows heavier, while the grizzly steadily increases pressure and relies on solid muscle to stay balanced. But the moose does not simply give in. It stands its ground, lowers its center of gravity, and swings its front legs in a powerful warning, forcing the bear to pause for a moment and reassess the risk. For that reason, these confrontations are never one-sided. With just a brief lapse in judgment, the balance can shift in an instant. When Alaska's rivers begin to fill with salmon, the entire landscape seems to change its rhythm. This is also when the grizzly bear enters a stage called hyperphagia, an intensified feeding period before hibernation, spending almost the whole day taking in energy and building fat reserves. At the start of the season, waterfalls become hot spots, where hundreds of brown bears gather to feed. Salmon have to leap upward to fight the current, while the bears only need to stand in the right spot and wait for the right moment. At this time, the grizzly shows quick, precise catches, repeated over and over like a habit shaped by countless seasons in the wild. Toward the end of the season, the current softens. Many salmon have grown weak after their long journey and cluster in slower sections of the river. The grizzly bear leaves the falls and moves down to calmer stretches, making the most of the remaining energy of the season in a way that saves effort, yet stays effective. Thanks to this strategy, a bear may consume dozens of salmon in a single day, turning that stored fat into a reserve layer that helps the body endure the cold months. When the salmon feast finally comes to a close, the grizzly leaves the riverbank, searches for a high, dry, and sheltered place, and digs a warm den. Once the den is ready, it curls up and settles in for the Alaska winter. This is not only the bear's survival journey. Nutrients from the salmon follow its tracks deep into the forest, enriching the soil, nourishing plants, and indirectly sustaining a whole chain of other living creatures. It is the cycle of nutrients flowing from river to land along the most natural path. Across the plains, still as if holding their breath, the cheetah appears like a streak of lightning tearing through the horizon. Each explosive stride declares that speed can stand in for strength, and that a streamlined body can push past every limit. As that slender body surges forward, the air splits into sharp lines, opening a chase where only precision decides the outcome. The ground seems to stretch and snap beneath its feet, drawing every gaze toward the next burst of acceleration. What happens when the fastest creature on the plains chooses exactly the right moment to strike? The cheetah, the fastest creature on land, the ruler of speed on the African plains. Its body, weighing about 75 to 140 pounds, is built for explosive bursts, with a flexible spine and a long tail that helps maintain balance when changing direction at speeds over 60 miles per hour. But speed does not last forever. The cheetah has only about 20 seconds to pour out its full strength before its body reaches the limit. Living among open plains and low shrubs, it chooses targets within reach. Yet its solitary life makes every catch fragile. With acceleration like an explosion and turns as sharp as sweeping wind, the cheetah turns every stride into a decision that can determine its survival. The ostrich, the largest bird in the world, standing over 7 feet tall and often weighing nearly twice as much as a cheetah, has powerful legs that can sprint at over 40 miles per hour and deliver counter moves that make any predator cautious. Yet there are still hunters bold enough to challenge those limits. Instinct and daring drive the cheetah to pursue this high-risk target without hesitation. The encounter is never easy, but if the ostrich relaxes its guard for even half a beat, all 3 cheetahs can rush in from behind, looking for a way to control its legs, the strongest weapon their prey possesses. Surprise becomes the key, and at times the ostrich is overwhelmed by the smooth coordination of the trio, allowing them to earn a hard-fought reward. Even so, in most chases, the ostrich manages to stretch the distance and fade into the distant grass, reminding the cheetah that not every target is worth the energy it demands. Choosing the right prey is the real key to a sustainable path of survival. Compared to impala, wildebeest are a true challenge. Their heavy build, powerful leaps, and strong resistance turn every close approach into a risky gamble. Wildebeest herds often move in long lines, forming a living wall that is hard to break through. This advantage forces the cheetah to choose the right moment, the right individual, and to keep every step of the approach carefully measured. When it accelerates past 60 miles per hour, with strides stretching over 20 feet, its whole body seems to skim just above the grass. The chase only ends when the prey loses balance in a tight turn, opening a brief moment for the cheetah to bring the pursuit to a close. At other times, a group of 2 to 5 cheetahs splits their angles of approach, building combined pressure and disrupting the herd's formation. Each one takes on a specific role, turning the entire chase into a plan that feels pre-calculated in the wild. With vision blocked and constant pressure from different directions, the wildebeest gradually loses its advantage. Across the open plains, every choice has a cost. Speed only matters when it is used at the right moment, and for grazing animals, the strength of the herd remains their most enduring shield. Impala are a vital food source for the cheetah, making up a large share of its daily diet. With a medium build, weighing around 80 to 165 pounds, and a habit of moving in large herds, they become ideal opportunities on the plains. The hunt often begins in absolute silence. The cheetah lowers its body, blends into the grass, then suddenly bursts into full speed. In just 15 to 20 short seconds, the distance closes as quickly as a single breath. When the target is chosen well, the success rate can reach about 60%, providing an essential supply of protein-rich, energy-filled nutrition that helps the cheetah maintain its strength each day. This is not just a hunt. It is a race against time, where speed, instinct, and timing merge into a single critical decision. And at the end of each chase, nature reminds us that it is not always the fastest that prevails, but the one that can read the rhythm of the land and sky. The leopard, A solitary hunter, equipped with powerful muscles, remarkable climbing ability, and a habit of pulling its meals high into the trees, is always the most unpredictable rival of the cheetah. An adult leopard can weigh up to 200 pounds, with strong jaws and overwhelming strength that force the cheetah to stay on high alert whenever they share the same hunting grounds. The sharpest contrast lies in how they protect their meals. The leopard uses its strength to carry its prize into the trees, while the cheetah, lacking the same defensive muscle, has to eat quickly on the ground, making it easy for rivals to take over. In close encounters, a single moment of carelessness can push the cheetah into a critical situation. Its body is built for speed rather than impact. Light bones and speed-focused muscles leave it unable to withstand the leopard's formidable bite and power. Even so, direct confrontations rarely last long. The cheetah stays alert, knowing that speed is its greatest asset, but that avoidance is its true strategy for survival. This is not failure. It is a deliberate, wise decision. Across the savanna, the lion holds the power of dominance, while the cheetah relies on finely honed speed. The two species exist in intense competition. The lion not only guards its territory, but also stands as a constant threat, forcing the cheetah to keep its distance to avoid direct conflict. The encounter often begins when a lion spots a cheetah dragging its catch. In that instant, the advantage shifts immediately to the one with muscle and territorial authority. The lion moves in with long, confident strides, while the cheetah abandons its meal at once in exchange for a chance to survive. If the cheetah grows too complacent and is slow to retreat, the lion not only reasserts its claim over the territory, but can also turn that ground into the place where both the prize and the one who claimed it lose their hold. That is why the cheetah must rely on wisdom and caution to endure, knowing that speed may secure the prey. But true survival depends on staying clear of the power of the ruler of the plains.
The cubs at a distance.
Hyenas are the persistent shadow behind many species, known for their habit of taking over meals and for the tough resilience of their packs. Because of this, they become the most unsettling rivals of the cheetah, a hunter that must stay constantly alert to protect the hard-won prize gained after exhausting chases. The cheetah, a true master of speed, is born to chase rather than to clash head-on. There is no personal hatred between it and the hyena, yet the path of survival keeps bringing them into contact as both move towards the same scarce food in a harsh land. With a sharp sense of smell, hyenas can detect the scent from far away and quickly gather around the spot where a cheetah is dragging its catch. With stubborn determination, they step closer, push forward, and apply constant pressure, forcing the cheetah to give ground as the tension rises. The difference in physical strength leads the cheetah to make a wise choice: to prioritize safety and turn speed into its only way out when the circle tightens. The encounter closes in silence as the cheetah withdraws and leaves the meal to the more numerous group. Once again, the plains repeat a familiar truth. In the world of hunters, long-term survival depends not only on strength, but also on knowing when to step back. From rocky mountain slopes to muddy riverbeds and snow-covered valleys, the grizzly bear stands as a pillar of strength in the northern forest. What sets it apart is not only muscle, but also the way it reads the terrain, manages its energy, and knows when to stop before wearing itself down. If this journey has offered viewers a new perspective on the wild, you can press like and subscribe to return for the stories ahead.